I never thought I'd be the kind of person to buy a house on Amazon. It felt strange. The idea seemed almost absurd at first. I mean, who buys a house online? But there I was, scrolling through listings, my curiosity piqued. The convenience was undeniable, and the variety was astonishing. From tiny homes to prefabricated mansions, Amazon had it all. It was like a digital real estate wonderland. Clicking add to cart on something so life-changing seemed impossible. My heart raced as I hovered over the button. This wasn't just a casual purchase, it was a monumental decision. The weight of it all pressed down on me, but the allure of a new beginning was too strong to resist. This wasn't a pair of shoes. It wasn't a gadget or a piece of furniture. This was a commitment, a leap of faith into a new lifestyle. I had to remind myself that this was what I wanted, a fresh start, a simpler life. It was my future home. The excitement was palpable. I could already envision myself living there, embracing a minimalist lifestyle, free from the burdens of excess. It arrived in a shipping container. The sight of it was surreal. A house in a box, delivered right to my doorstep. It was both thrilling and bewildering. How could that be a house? The skepticism was natural. It looked like an oversized package, not a place to live. But I had done my research, and I knew that once it was unpacked and assembled, it would transform into a cozy abode. But there it was, a 2-story expandable tiny house, staring back at me from the screen. The idea had been brewing for a while. I craved simplicity. The more I thought about it, the more it made sense. A smaller space meant fewer things, less maintenance, and more freedom. The idea had been brewing for a while. I craved simplicity. I was tired of the rat race, the mortgage payments, the endless clutter. My life had become a cycle of working to pay for things I didn't need. I wanted out. I wanted to reclaim my time and my peace of mind. This tiny house represented freedom. It was a chance to downsize and focus on what truly mattered. I imagined myself waking up to serene landscapes, spending more time outdoors, and living a life of intentionality. I could live smaller and live bigger at the same time. The paradox was beautiful. By reducing my physical space, I could expand my mental and emotional space. It was an opportunity to live more fully, with less. I took a deep breath and clicked buy now. The decision was made. There was no turning back. I felt a mix of exhilaration and fear, but I knew it was the right choice. My tiny house journey had begun. I felt a surge of excitement mixed with a healthy dose of terror. What had I done? The waiting game began. Each day felt like a year. The anticipation was killing me, but finally the day arrived. I felt a surge of excitement mixed with a healthy dose of terror. What had I done? The waiting game began. Each day felt like a year. I found myself constantly checking the delivery status, counting down the days. The anticipation was both thrilling and agonizing. The anticipation was killing me, but finally the day arrived. The delivery truck rumbled down my street, carrying my future. It was a moment of pure exhilaration. My dream was becoming a reality. The delivery truck rumbled down my street, carrying my future. I watched in awe as the container was carefully unloaded. It was time to unpack. It was time to unpack. As I opened the container, I felt a rush of emotions. This was the beginning of a new chapter, a new way of living. My tiny house adventure had officially begun. The delivery truck was massive, taking up nearly the entire width of the suburban street. It was an unusual sight, and it immediately drew the attention of everyone in the neighborhood. It looked like it was carrying a spaceship, not a house. The sheer size of the container was both intimidating and awe-inspiring. My neighbors gathered, their faces a mixture of curiosity and amusement. Some had their phones out, recording the spectacle, while others whispered among themselves, speculating about what could be inside. I couldn't blame them. I was pretty sure I looked equal parts terrified and giddy. This was a big moment, and the anticipation was almost too much to bear. The truck doors swung open, revealing the house. It was still encased in the shipping container, but I could see its potential. The metal box held the promise of a simpler life, a fresh start. The idea of living in a tiny house had always intrigued me. The minimalist lifestyle, the reduced carbon footprint, and the freedom to move were all appealing. This metal box held the promise of a simpler life. It was a chance to declutter, to focus on what truly mattered, and to live more intentionally. The delivery team expertly maneuvered the container onto the prepared gravel foundation. Their precision and skill were impressive, ensuring that everything was perfectly aligned. The real magic began when the container doors swung open. Inside, the house was ready to reveal its secrets. Like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, the house unfolded. Expandable sections slid out, doubling the living space. It was incredible to watch the transformation. Expandable sections slid out, doubling the living space. It was incredible. Each section revealed more of the house's clever design and efficient use of space. My skepticism melted away with each revealed corner. The house was not just functional but also beautiful, with every inch thoughtfully designed. This wasn't just a house, it was a well-designed, efficient living machine. It was a testament to what could be achieved with creativity and innovation in a small space. Now the real work began transforming this kit into a home. The instruction manual was surprisingly straightforward. It was like assembling a giant piece of IKEA furniture, but with much higher stakes. Thankfully, the house arrived with all the necessary tools. The first step was connecting the expandable sections to the main unit. It was surprisingly easy. The pre-drilled holes lined up perfectly, and the bolts slid into place with satisfying clicks. Next came the roof panels. Each panel was clearly labeled, and they fit together like puzzle pieces. Within a few days, the house was standing tall. I hooked up the water and electricity, and just like that, it was livable. The entire setup process took less than a week. It was amazing how quickly a pile of metal and wood transformed into a cozy dwelling. Stepping inside my tiny house felt like entering a dollhouse, but in a good way. The charm of the place was immediately apparent, with its quaint and cozy atmosphere welcoming me in. It was like stepping into a world where every detail was thoughtfully designed to create a sense of warmth and comfort. Every inch of space was maximized for efficiency and comfort. The layout was meticulously planned to ensure that no space was wasted, and every corner had a purpose. From the cleverly hidden storage compartments to the multifunctional furniture, it was clear that a lot of thought had gone into making this tiny house a functional and livable space. The ground floor housed the living area, kitchen and bathroom. Despite the compact size, each area felt distinct and well-defined. The living area was a perfect spot to relax, the kitchen was equipped with everything needed to prepare a meal, and the bathroom, though small, was fully functional. Large windows bathed the space in natural light, making it feel surprisingly spacious. The abundance of natural light not only made the space feel larger, but also created a bright and cheerful atmosphere. It was a perfect example of how thoughtful design can transform a small space into a comfortable and inviting home. The living area was cozy and inviting, with enough room for a small sofa and a fold-out table. This space was perfect for unwinding after a long day or hosting a small gathering of friends. The fold-out table was a clever addition, providing a dining area when needed and folding away to save space when not in use. The kitchen had all the essentials: a 2-burner stove, a mini fridge, and even a dishwasher drawer. It was amazing how such a small space could accommodate everything needed for cooking and cleaning. The compact appliances were perfectly suited for the tiny house, providing all the functionality of a full-sized kitchen without taking up too much space. The bathroom, tucked discreetly under the stairs, was small but functional, with a composting toilet and a shower stall. Despite its size, it had everything needed for daily use. The composting toilet was an eco-friendly choice, and the shower stall, though compact, was comfortable and efficient. A set of stairs led to the second floor, which housed the bedroom. The stairs were cleverly designed to double as storage, with each step containing a drawer or a cupboard. This innovative use of space ensured that even the staircase contributed to the overall functionality of the home. The loft-style bedroom was surprisingly spacious. The high ceiling and open layout made it feel much larger than it actually was. It was a peaceful retreat, a place to relax and unwind at the end of the day. It easily fit a queen-size bed and a small dresser. The bed was positioned to take advantage of the natural light from the skylight, creating a bright and airy feel. The dresser provided ample storage for clothes and other personal items, ensuring that the bedroom remained clutter-free. A skylight above the bed offered breathtaking views of the stars at night. It was a magical experience to lie in bed and gaze up at the night sky, feeling connected to the world outside while being snug and comfortable inside. It was small, it was efficient, and it was mine. This tiny house was a testament to the idea that bigger isn't always better. It was a space that was thoughtfully designed, beautifully executed, and perfectly suited to my needs. It was more than just a house, it was a home. Section 5. Making it my own customization and off-grid living. The beauty of this tiny house was its potential for customization. I wanted to take it a step further and make it completely off-grid. I invested in solar panels, which were easily installed on the roof. The solar panels provided enough energy to power my lights, appliances, and even a mini-split air conditioner. I also added a rainwater collection system, which provided water for showering and washing dishes. It was empowering to know that I was living independently, relying on my own resources. I personalized the interior with colorful rugs, plants, and artwork. I built a small deck off the back, creating a private outdoor oasis. I was no longer just living in a house, I was living in my vision. Section 6. Tiny House, Big Savings, the Financial Freedom of Downsizing. One of the most significant benefits of downsizing to a tiny house was the financial freedom it provided. My monthly expenses were drastically reduced. My mortgage was replaced with a small lot rental fee. My utility bills were practically non-existent thanks to my off-grid setup. The money I saved allowed me to pursue my passions. I finally had the freedom to travel, take classes, and explore new hobbies. This tiny house wasn't just a home, it was a gateway to a richer, more fulfilling life. I finally understood the true meaning of living within my means. It wasn't about deprivation, it was about prioritizing what truly mattered. Section 7. A Simpler Life. Finding peace in a smaller space. Living in a tiny house forced me to simplify my life. I got rid of unnecessary possessions, keeping only what brought me joy or served a purpose. The constant need to tidy up disappeared because there was simply less space for clutter to accumulate. This newfound simplicity extended beyond my possessions. I felt less stressed and more at peace. My mind was clearer, no longer bogged down by the weight of material possessions. I had more time for what truly mattered, connecting with nature, pursuing my passions, and spending quality time with loved ones. My tiny house had become a sanctuary, a place where I could escape the chaos of the outside world and reconnect with myself. Section 8. My Tiny House Revolution. An invitation to join the movement. My tiny house journey has been transformative. It's taught me that happiness doesn't come from material possessions, but from experiences, relationships, and living in alignment with our values. It's about finding freedom and joy in simplicity. If you're feeling trapped by the weight of your possessions, if you're longing for a simpler, more sustainable way of life, I urge you to consider the tiny house movement. It's not for everyone, but it might be the perfect solution for those seeking financial freedom, environmental consciousness, and a more intentional way of living. Don't be afraid to downsize your belongings and upsize your life. You might be surprised by the freedom and happiness you find in a smaller space. Section 9. A Future Built on Freedom, My Tiny House, My Big Life. My tiny house is more than just 4 walls and a roof. It's a symbol of my commitment to a simpler, more intentional life. It's a reminder that happiness comes not from what we own, but from how we choose to live. Since moving into my tiny house, I've never looked back. I've traded stress for serenity, clutter for clarity, and debt for freedom. My tiny house has given me the space to live a bigger, more meaningful life. It's a life filled with adventure, purpose, and a deep appreciation for the simple things. And that, to me, is priceless. My tiny house is a testament to the fact that sometimes, downsizing is the best way to upsize your life.